Okay, let's take a look at the latest tool from LessonLab. This is called AI Study Rooms, and it's a student tool, meaning your students can start to engage safely with AI. So in this video, I'm going to show you a couple of ways in which you could use study rooms. And the first thing we need to do is click on Get Started, and we can start to create our first study room. So the first thing we need to fill in is a room name. Now for this one, I'm going to call it Math Support, and this study room is going to provide math support to the students. So for this study room, I only need general AI knowledge, and then I need to start prompting the AI, so how I want my chatbot to behave. So I've been quite thorough here with how I'm prompting my AI. So I've said that they're a maths tutor, they're only going to create small, manageable steps, they're never going to give the answer, and also they're going to wait for a correct answer from the student before they move on to the next step. And then my year group, I've just gone for year 6, because that's the year group that I teach. So the next step is student instructions, and these are the instructions which are going to go straight to the student so they know how to interact with this study room. So I've said here, provide your question and the AI will help you solve the question. After that, you need to accept the terms and conditions, and that is going to create our new study room. So once it's created, you're going to be greeted with this dashboard page. Now obviously no one's joined the study room at the moment, but at the top we can see our room access code as well as a QR code the students can scan, as well as a URL link, which I'm going to use now just to open it, and we can see how it looks from the student side. Okay, so once the student goes to that link, they're going to be prompted to put in their name, and that can also be a group name, of course. So for this, I'm just going to put George, and then I'm going to enter the room. So as you can see, we're currently in the waiting room, and this is the first level of security we've put in place in study rooms. So a student cannot enter the room until the room has been opened by the teacher. To open the room, the teacher just needs to click on Open Room in the top corner. And as you can see, that room has now been opened, and we have a student count of 1, which means that over on our other tab, our student has now been entered into the study room and been greeted with a welcome message. So the student's just going to ask the first question as per the instructions. And we can see here, immediately the AI starts to come back with the first step on how to solve that problem. So as we can see, as we go through, I'm having a conversation with the AI, getting that support. Now this is great for students to take ownership of their own learning, but it also frees up time for the teacher because they can go and be working with another student who might need some more tailored support. Now over here in our teacher dashboard, we can see we've got these students and these chats tabs have now appeared. So if we go into students, we can see all the students which are in this study room. And if we head over to the chats tab, I can see a record of all the conversations that's happening to make sure I'm on top of all the conversations being had. Now let's say I'm in a class and I want to address the class, or I want to pause the study room. I can click on Pause Room up here. And then over on the Students tab, you can see here that this pop-up appears and they're unable to interact with the AI. Now, let's say I just want to pause functionality for one student. I can click on this Suspend button and it will have the exact same function. So it'll just suspend the room for the student. But by doing this, the rest of the students in the class are able to still use the study room. So that's the second level of security. We can pause a room for the whole group. We can pause the room for an individual student. Now, the third level of security is where the AI will flag inappropriate messages. So after a while, I've been trying to prompt the AI to give me the answer, and it's having absolutely none of it because that was the prompt that we gave as the teacher to start with. Eventually, I've used inappropriate language, and you can see here that teacher check has popped up. Now, over here, we've been greeted with this new alerts message. The student has been suspended from the chat. They're unable to use it until I have gone in and checked their message. So now we're in here, I can see the record, the message that was sent that was deemed inappropriate. And what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to delete that. And what that's going to do is over on the student chat is going to remove that previous message, which was rude, and they can resume using it. Something else I could have done at this stage, if it was a false flag, so it was a false, so the AI incorrectly interpreted that message as being inappropriate, I could have also allowed that message and then the conversation would have continued. So let's say I've been using this and I want to evidence the study room in the student's work. What I can do is save that conversation. And what that's done is just download a complete copy of that conversation. Now this is great for evidencing if ever the study room is used incorrectly as well. The download is of course also available on the teacher tab as well. So once I've finished with my study room, I can close the room. But again, as a next level of security and also data privacy, that's going to delete all record of the student and their conversations. So it's really important that you save any conversations you want to save before you close the room. The students will not be able to access this room when it is closed. So we can see here, the student has been kicked out of the room, you've been removed from this chat, and they're back to the home page where they can enter a new room ID, room sort of access code. Okay, so that's one example as to how we might use study rooms for a maths lesson. What I'm going to do now is very quickly create a second one. This is how I've been using it in class at the moment. So for this second study room, I've created a thesaurus. So the students can ask for a word and be given some synonyms for that word, similar to looking it up in a thesaurus, obviously. And obviously, it all works in exactly the same way as before. So the student might ask a pretty boring word, and they will get given some synonyms there. So there's loads and loads of ways in which you can be using this AI tool to help you in class and help your students in class as well. One last thing before we go, if I close a study room, they're always there so I can reopen them later on. You only need to create a study room once and then it's saved to your profile.